Personally, no. I've always been a fan of proportional representation, and I think that it should be the case that if 35% of the electorate vote for the Conservatives, they should get 35% of the seats. They shouldn't get 52% of the seats.
Well, it can be a protest vote. It can be, you want to feel that, that the sitting candidate doesn't have it all his own way, that there are people that that don't agree with what he has to say. So that actually is a fair point, isn't it, for voting. And I was in the union, and that of course is a different voice. There are other outlets.
Yeah, no, certainly not. I mean, I've always been a supporter of proportional representation, and having lived in Surrey Heath for, a long time, over 35 years, it's instilled in me that we need proportional representation. And then going out, knocking on doors, pushing leaflets, talking to people, if we got 4 or 5 or 6 councillors, which we probably would do under a proportional system, it would make it much more meaningful, and it would give you a bit of a sort of a morale booster, really. So, no, certainly it is not an acceptable situation.
That is one which I think I find incredibly difficult. I think one really interesting thing, and I don't know whether it's as widespread as I feel it might be, but when I came up through the curriculum, a really big thing was made about how proportional representation was part of what allowed the Nazis to get in. It was the fact that it led to an unstable system, and thus you could get these smaller parties that wouldn't appear over here, and thus they were able to kind of manoeuvre and grow and build their party. And so I was anti-proportional representation. I kind of felt, yeah, it's a nice idea, but it's quite risky. Then I kind of watched the election and saw it all happen. I was like, Jesus, so many people voted against the Tories, as much as a few. To me, it feels like a few voted for them. But I think another thing for me with proportional representation that scares me is, I'm a mixed race, and so when you look at the amount of MPs UKIP would have with proportional representation, there is a bit of me that freaks out, because they scare me, because they hold what I would consider xenophobic views, and their anti-immigrant stuff. My father was an immigrant. Without immigration, I wouldn't be here. So I find it difficult. I find the fact that I've lost my vote scary, but I find it interesting that it keeps some people I really dislike out as well. But I think at the end of the day, it's just too undemocratic. You can't discover that you live somewhere and thus you have no input into the democratic process. I think that's unfair. And so it comes down to the classic thing with democracy, is that it's everyone's opinion, not just yours. As much as you might want it to be what you agree with, it has to be everyone. So people who vote UKIP need a voice as much as I need a voice, and you hope that sensible voices prevail. But yeah, well, kind of how I feel.